Hey, Matt. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to Where's Your Head At?
Thanks for having me.
I met you actually, was it last year? I can't even remember. The years just kind of like muddled together at the moment. We did the MasterChef event together and I met you there and I thought you were so funny. I was like, this guy is amazing.
Oh my God, you are so right about everything just mushing together. I tried to find a photo from that day, from that shoot that we did, and I felt like I was scrolling on my camera roll for years and years and years to try and figure out when that was. Yeah, time is just a blur these days. There's so much going on, but it was so fun, and yeah, I loved meeting you too. It was a great day.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I have to ask you, Matt. I went on Instagram to do some research on you, obviously, because you're coming on to the podcast, but I couldn't find you. Have you blocked me?
Oh, really?
No.
I mean, maybe. I block a lot of straight men, so I mean, it's very, very. Usually after I sleep with them, but it's very.
Well, is that what happened? I don't know. Literally, because
is that what happened? What do you mean?
Anna sent me some.
I sent Matt some funny clips of you, and he's like, I can't see them.
Really?
Yeah. So I was like,
I've got you right here. Is that you?
There you go.
We genuinely look. That's but then look at mine. It says not available. Your stuff's not available.
Wow. Oh, that's not good. I don't know why. Maybe I'm like shadow banned at the moment.
No, everyone else around you, my burner account could find you, but
Matt's
not
been put
my
on
actual account.
Matt's been put on the block list.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Before we came in here, I was like, Anna, maybe I shouldn't be in on this one. Maybe you take this one. I think he's got a. I think I'm not welcome here.
No, that is actually a mystery. That's a conspiracy theory because no, definitely haven't blocked you. So I don't know what's happened there, but maybe if I follow you, it'll all work.
Yeah, slide into my DMs and see what happens.
Matt wants to be friends.
I will do.
Did you?
I followed you now. Check what happened. See if it comes up.
Nothing.
Well, maybe you've blocked me.
No,
He went through his blocked list. He's like, did I?
I was like, why would I block him? I was like, and then I went through my block list and you weren't there. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a mystery. Mystery.
Anna and you might have blocked me because Anna and I hit it off on that day at MasterChef. We had such a good time together.
We really did.
You were just so down to earth and so fabulous and so funny. Aww. And out of everyone there, like, we probably like connected the best. Like, I was like, yeah, she's a cool chick. So,
Aww.
Matt, you probably got jealous and saw me on the stories and blocked me.
So I was probably like, gee whiz, he's going to take the spot. It's going to be replaced by another Matt.
I'm the only Matt in Anna's life.
Wow, that's fun. That's a confusing one. All right.
I have to ask you because your outfits are just so fabulous. Who is your style icon?
For me, it's probably like I take a lot of inspiration and always have throughout my life from specifically Lady Gaga. I feel like she very much changed the game in terms of fashion in the music industry. We all know, like before her, everyone was wearing jeans on a red carpet, and then Lady Gaga comes out in an egg, and everyone's like, we need to top this. And so Lady Gaga, when I was younger, was definitely my style icon. I feel like these days I don't really have too much of a style icon. I feel like I found my own style in a way, and I know exactly like what looks flattering on my body and exactly what works, and that's kind of what I run with. And I get my outfits for my shows and things, and big things like that MasterChef shoot, that dress that I wore with all the sunglasses on it. I get all of those custom made because one, as a fat and fabulous person, as someone who is fat, like it's harder for me to shop, obviously, because not one size doesn't fit all. And so getting something custom made, just like, getting it measured to my proportions and things like that and making it fit like a glove is something that I started doing last year. And it's absolutely changed everything. And I feel like I've found my own style in that.
Totally. I reckon that you're a lot of people's style icon.
I was about to say that.
Yeah, I think you are the style icon.
Yeah, you are the style.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, for some fashion.
Yeah. Speaking of your show, you are on tour at the moment. You do stand-up comedy.
Yeah, well, I don't know whether I do stand-up comedy, but I do a comedy show.
Right.
Look, here's the thing. I'm on tour right now. I'm in Adelaide at Adelaide Fringe. Oh my goodness, Joel, I'm so tired. It's only a half an hour time difference from Sydney. I feel jet lagged. I'm so jet lagged.
Yeah, you did get the timing wrong for this. We might mention that.
Yeah.
You were coming.
I mean, it's hard. 30 minutes later.
I know. It's only just hit it. We were meant to start recording at 11 o'clock. It's only just hit 11 o'clock now. I only woke up at 10:30.
So you're not late then?
No, exactly right. I actually was early as far as I'm concerned. But I don't call them stand-up comedy shows because they're not. They're very much tailored to my following. Obviously, a lot of people who are coming to the shows. I've been doing social media and stuff for about 8 years now, and a lot of the people who are coming to my shows are people who have followed me for a very long time. They kind of know my story and they know the ins and outs. And so it's very much tailored to them. And there's personal jokes about my journey, like talking about fashion and fashion icons. There's a whole section in the show about how when I was first starting out, I was kind of like too poor to buy any outfits for a red carpet, and I wasn't famous enough that people wanted to dress me. And so I had to make my own outfits, like go down to Kmart and Spotlight and Bunnings and buy all these things and then put them all on an outfit and walk the red carpet, look at $1 million, but like for $22.50, you know? And so I tell a lot of stories like that and stories from throughout my life. And it's very much tailored to my audience. Look, it's a funny show. Everybody laughs, but is it stand-up comedy? I don't know, but I'm having a bloody good time doing it, whatever it is.
Do you have any advice to anyone that's wanting to get into the stand-up? You said it's not stand-up, but the stand-up.
Like entertainment.
The stand-up world, who wants to get up on stage and tell jokes to people and make them laugh?
Well, I have some advice, but also the way that I kind of fell into it was kind of weird and kind of random because, you know, for most people, if you want to start in comedy, you find your local comedy club, and there's plenty of them in major cities. I don't know about like smaller regional places, but in major cities, there's all these hidden like comedy bars, and just on a Tuesday, they just have like open mic nights. And look, when I started, I did a lot of research and like just sat there and pretty much watched people over and over and over and kind of picked up on different things because, I mean, stand-up comedy kind of is like an art form in that you have to talk a certain way or put a certain things in, and you have to know when to pause to let the audience know it's okay to laugh, and it's all very structured. It's kind of funny how it all works. And so I watched a lot of Joan Rivers.
Yeah,
I love Joan Rivers, and she definitely isn't my style of comedy. She was much worse. She got away with a lot of things that I could never say, but she was really hilarious, and I kind of watched how, because I feel like for her, she's one of the greatest comics of all time, and the way that an audience just watched Joan Rivers and was so enthralled by her, and no matter what she said, they were laughing at. That's really kind of like what I want. That's what everybody wants from an audience if you want to do comedy. So yeah, if you're starting out, go to those small little comedy bars and things like that. They do open mic nights where anyone can get on stage and have a go and see how it goes. For me, I have to say though, I never did that. I just kind of blew up on social media, and then I was approached by my talent, by the tour manager, and he was like, hey, you should do live shows. Ding, 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 money, money, money. And I was like, righto, let's do it.
Perfect.
You know?
Were you nervous before your first one then? Obviously, if you hadn't.
Oh my God. And I still get nervous. Like, I think that
they reckon once you stop getting nervous, it means you don't care. So it's probably a good thing. You get nervous before.
Well, the very first time, here we go, we'll take you through it. The first night that I did a comedy show, it was at Sydney Comedy Festival, and this was last year, and I thought, you know, this was my first time doing a show, so I didn't really know how it worked. So I did a full glam moment, like bold blue and black smoky eye. I had like 3 or 4 vodka Red Bulls beforehand to pump myself up. And then when I got on stage, I was so sweaty from the alcohol and the hot lights that my makeup started melting down my face.
Oh, no.
And I was just I was just crying black and blue mascara all down my neck. I remember getting off stage, looking in the mirror, and it's like gone down my neck into my dress. And I learnt very quickly no alcohol before my shows. So I now do not have a drop of alcohol before my shows, because that obviously makes you a little bit warmer. And also my makeup that I now do is very, very basic, because I don't want to have any mishaps with the sweat and things like that. And I've learned along the way. I now have a towel on stage so that I can dab my forehead if I am getting sweaty. I have like a water. I have, show notes and things like that. So because I am still learning. Like, I think in Adelaide, this is only my 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like last night was only my 10th show ever. Tomorrow will be tonight will be my 11th. So it's only my 11th time on stage doing this.
You're so confident. I mean, we were watching the pinned video on your socials, the famous video of you pretending to be in jail with the soap bar and bending down. It's just so funny. Like, I reckon I've watched it like 20 times. It's so hilarious. Yeah, I was like, look at this. It's hilarious.
I obviously haven't seen it for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like so proud of like that joke and how well that did on social media. It was
so good.
It was good. Yeah, I loved it. I'm really glad.
How do you think of your material? Then, like, how does it come to you? Do you like brainstorm? Do you take off actual joke?
Well, I mean, for me, it was a really long process. I really struggled last year with writing the show. The fun fact is, actually, before the pandemic, we did plan to do one show, and then the pandemic hit, so we had to cancel that, give everybody back their money, and then 2 years later, we put on 6 shows in Sydney that sold out. So that's just showing the growth that I had during the pandemic on social media. And for me, I had been writing the show since 2019 in a way. And so I kind of knew what I wanted to do. And then when I sat down and wrote it, it's very much I already knew what I wanted to do with my shows. I wanted to make them very cohesive, have a start, a middle, and an end. Also have a bit of a message to the show as well. And so I guess I can talk about that because the show's over. This is the last time I'm ever going to do these shows in Adelaide, because basically the theme of the show is fake it till you make it. And I tell all these stories from throughout my life of times I faked it, like going back to the Arias and making my own outfit that looks $1 million, but it cost me $20, Yeah. And so all these stories throughout my life of times I had to use this fake it till you make it method. And then at the end, I kind of say, during the pandemic, I had this moment to myself, which is all true, that I really had this kind of epiphany, this out-of-body experience, whatever you want to call it, where I kind of looked at this fake it till you make it method that I've been using my whole life. And I was like, where's it gotten me? It's gotten me nowhere, And so from that day forward, I decided to live authentically and be authentically myself. And then it's funny how like my life's done a 180 since then. And suddenly all these new opportunities and fabulous things are happening. And, you have like this little message in the show, which is like, once you stop faking it, that's when you start to make it.
Wow.
Because I really believe that that's like what happened in my life is like once I started being authentic, that's when people connected with me. And that's when I started to really kill it on social media. And so, there's like a whole kind of storyline to the show. And it's not all serious. It's very funny. There's lots of things that go wrong and whatnot. But writing the show is definitely one of the like hardest things I've ever done, especially just trying to cut it down. I had so much content, but you're only allowed to be on stage for like an hour tops. And so your show needs to be about 45 minutes to allow for things going wrong or chatter with the audience or whatever. And so condensing it down was so hard. But I will say that this time around, the new tour, Fat and Fabulous, it is, I definitely am like, there's no issue with keeping that short and sweet. Like I now know how it works. It's all good. I can keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
You said a lot of the audience are your following base. So do you get any hecklers or are they just
Well, I say at the start of the show, like, if you don't like the show, I don't want to hear about it, you know? And I say, you know, if you don't like the show, you are welcome to get up and leave. I literally couldn't give a shit. I've already spent your money. You know, you're not getting a refund. You're not getting a refund. So it doesn't bother me, you know, get up and leave, Tom. I still get paid at the end of the day. So it's about, you know, just controlling your audience in a way to kind of set that boundary and say, I don't want to hear your opinion. I couldn't give a shit. You're here to watch me.
Yeah.
You know, and it becomes a funny joke in the show as well. I have had a few people yell out, and I just say things like, excuse me, darling, it's my show, not yours, you know.
Have you had anyone walk out?
Well, I haven't noticed them if they have, but I mean, maybe.
I was going to say, maybe just rinse them as they're walking out. Just like, doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've never had anyone walk out that I've noticed, but I mean, potentially some people have.
We had someone walk out of our live show. We did a live show. It was this guy who was told that our show was a strip show. So we got on stage. He was expecting Matt and I to be naked 10 minutes in. He realised it wasn't happening anytime soon because we were having a little chat, and he rolled on out.
The seediest, oldest man, front row as well.
Well, it takes where's your head at to a whole new level.
Well, that's what we were saying. That's it. He was expecting a different type of head. Has there been a moment, speaking of faking it till you make it, has there been a moment where you've thought, fuck, I've really made it here?
Well, I talk about that in the show as well because it's kind of funny. I say, like, that's when you start to make it. And, you know, everyone usually claps and goes, whoa, and I go, well, hang on, Dale, I'm not there yet. You know? Like, I'm playing to 150 people in a dingy venue in the middle of so-and-so. You know, wait till I've sold out a stadium or something like that. And so even when, you know, you pretend that you've made it, you still got to take the piss out of you a little bit because no one wants to go to a comedy show and hear an inspirational story, really. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, there's been times throughout my life that I definitely have, like, pinch me moments, but I don't know whether I've had a moment where I've gone, OMG, I've made it. I feel like that moment is probably coming in the next couple years. There's been some exciting conversations happening over the last few months and whatnot. So, you know, I have my career goals. I have my career things that I'm manifesting. And hopefully when I tick a few of those off, you know, I'll be able to say I could make it. But then again, does anyone ever really make it? Because I feel like we can have everything we want and say we've made it, and we still want more. So maybe it's a case of that as well.
Adam and me
talk about that.
Yeah, that you need to stop sometimes and maybe like smell the roses because we're always thinking about like what's the next thing that
celebrate the small wins, and I guess like the goal is always happiness over anything.
Yeah.
Is what we say.
Yeah. But then money is good and going to the top is fun as well.
But also I feel like I've accepted my fate that I'll never be at the top. You know what I mean? Like, I think you got to be realistic about it as well.
Oh, no, I'll see you up there.
Well, no, you won't. I've blocked you, apparently.
You're not going to see me unblocked. You're not even
You'll only get unblocked when you're at the very top. You have your own podcast. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it's called Trash Alley. It's a Spotify original podcast, which is so exciting because the only other people that I know who have Spotify original podcasts are Kim Kardashian and Meghan Markle. Oh, I mean, Spotify's clearly put us all in the same boat, which I agree. It's a pop culture podcast, so we kind of talk about like what's in the news and things like that. And then it's also storytelling about our own lives as well. So, you know, I like to sum it up like, for anyone who's never listened before, Trash Alley is kind of like what you talk about in a smoker's area at a nightclub, which is what it's named after. Trash Alley is what the smoking section at Arc Sydney, which is a big gay nightclub on Oxford Street. That's what they call it. You'd be
solving some world problems then.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Well, I mean, we get into all the conspiracy theories. We get into all of everything. So it's a podcast full of everything. But yeah, basically I like to describe it as in like, imagine basically, you know, Ariana Grande releases a new song. And so in our episode, we go, Ariana Grande has released a new song. It's called Break Up With Your Boyfriend. And then we talk about the song and then we go, let's tell you about our worst breakup. You know what I mean?
Love
So it's
it.
like we use pop culture to tell stories and things like that. And it's really fun. We are on a long hiatus right now.
Yeah.
it's a long hiatus. We finished up at the end of last year. And then in January, my granddad passed away, and that was a really difficult time for me. And I just needed some time to process.
Yeah, sorry.
And it was full on, which is sad. And then Sydney World Pride happened, which was then the other end of the spectrum, the happiest time of my life. I felt like I was at Disneyland every day. And so it's been an emotional roller coaster. I was very busy over Sydney World Pride, and then, of course, now I have my shows in Adelaide. Yeah. And so it's just been a very busy time, and we're hoping to work out everybody's schedules and come back as soon as we can.
Oh, my gosh,
let's talk about Sydney World Pride then. How was that?
Yeah, how was it? What happened?
We went up to Sydney at the back end of it, and like I didn't realise how full on it is there, like how much Sydney like gets involved.
Sydney was alive.
Yeah, and everywhere.
I don't know if anyone realises that how full on it was going to be. Well, usually you see we just have Mardi Gras, which is totally different. So we have Mardi Gras, which is our Pride season. It happens every year for about 2 and a bit weeks in Sydney. And we have, obviously, everybody knows the Mardi Gras parade, but people probably, like a lot of people don't know that that's actually a 17-day festival where things are happening every day. And I mean, thousands of events are happening every single day, and just everything you can imagine everywhere. And so it's actually a 2 and a bit week celebration, but everybody just knows the Mardi Gras parade because that's pretty much what's on TV. And so this year we hosted World Pride, which is very much like the Olympics. You bid to host World Pride. We bid a few years ago. We won the bid. And, you know, it brings... So unfortunately, we won it, I think, before COVID, and then COVID hit. And so it's usually like a very big investment because it just brings so much tourism to Australia. And look, it did, but I don't think it really hit as well as they thought it was going to. Right. Because a lot of people didn't travel after the pandemic. And I mean, you know, everything that's going on in the world right now. But there were still a lot of people who came over, and obviously people came over from all over Australia. I did hear, and I don't quote me on this, but I think that they had more travellers like from Australia than international, which is like really good to see that like Australia came out to support World Pride. Yeah. But I will say that, you know, when you're in Sydney around World Pride, and as you were saying, they really get stuck into it. Well, they don't get stuck into it every year. It's just that this year was World Pride, and like the city of Sydney and, you know, councils and things could get on board. So you were having World Pride events instead of just having World Pride events in the heart of Sydney, Mardi Gras events in the heart of Sydney, you were now having World Pride. So your World Pride events were like out in Parramatta and all over the shop and everywhere, Northern Beaches, you know, just all over Sydney, and it became like a whole city thing. And so it was huge. It was really big, and it was so exhausting. I was running on like an alternation of Red Bull and sleeping pills, like just trying to keep my body going for the whole 17 days. And of course it was 17 days, but like 2 weeks before that, that's when all the brands want to work with you on social media in the lead up. Yeah. And so it was like 5 weeks of I've never worked so hard in my life. It was so worth it. I had a great time. Yeah. I got to see Kylie Minogue, who is my favorite human being in the entire world. That was probably my highlight. And it was just nice to be gay. But you know what? I definitely came out of it being like, I am homophobic. I've had enough of gay people. I've had enough of queer people. I need to take a break. I was like, get me to a pub. I need a beer.
That's what my friend said the same thing. I was like, how was Pride Week or Pride Month? And he was like, I don't think I'm gay anymore. He's like, I'm done with it.
There was that overwhelming feeling was around because we were like, we've gone so hard. Now we're like, oh my God, give me a wife and kids.
Give me a wife and kids. Was there any like fun stories that you can tell us from Pride? Anything wild happen? Any juicy goss?
Sure there
not
is.
Not really for me. Because I chose to work this World Pride. Yeah. Let me be honest with you. And this is the thing, like, when it comes to brands wanting to work with queer people during Pride season, you know, it's a bit naff. So I was like, well, if they want to work with me and, you know, I'm going to charge through the roof.
Yeah.
I'm going to make as much money as I can.
Absolutely.
And I'm not doing anything I don't want to do, and I'm not working for free. I'm not working for free at all. And so I didn't. And it was amazing. It was a lot of work. And all my morals and rules still came into effect. Obviously, I still didn't work with brands, as always, that I don't want to work with or don't use their products. I don't love the product. But every brand I worked with, I was like, well, yeah, but I'm going to charge double my rates, sometimes triple, because it's Pride season and queer people deserve to be paid. And I couldn't believe, actually, the amount of people, or the amount of brands, that reached out and just wanted things for free. And what was disappointing is then I saw people, do the free shit. And I was kind of like, come on, everyone. Like, if we're not all in this together, then it's not going to work. And there were some really big brands who contacted me to do things. And I was like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity. Like, cool, I'm ready. And then when it got down to it, they had, it's no budget. We don't have any budget. What do you mean you don't have budget? Then you can't work with us. And then to see other people work with them, I was kind of like, why are you doing this for like a bottle of wine and a packet of cookies? Like, you know? But in terms of like crazy stories at World Pride, like no, because I was working so hard and working so much that I didn't really have time to like let my hair down and actually like truly enjoy myself and have fun. But yeah, I'm sorry I can't come through with the tea on that one. Usually I've got all the tea.
All the hot goss.
Yeah, not this year. I was too busy being a boss
hustling.
babe.
Yeah, boss babe. That's it. What is your relationship status at the moment?
I am divorced. No,
Divorced.
I was going to say, when did that happen?
I'm in a relationship with my partner, Skylar. He is, we've been together 4 years.
Wow.
4 years coming up in August. And we're definitely going to get married. Like, he's the one.
Aww.
I'm the one for him. We just, like, know that. It's like one of those when you know situations. And we just know. We moved in together, like, a year ago or so. It's been perfect. It's just that relationship. We never had a fight. We've never had a disagreement.
Never had a fight at all.
Nah, it's so weird. It's so weird. But I really think the pandemic helped because we were dating for 6 months and then went into the pandemic. So then we were kind of forced to spend a lot of time together because, you know, you had your little bubble. And so I was staying at his house or he was staying at my house. And I feel like it threw you in and it either made or broke you, you know? Like, and for us, it definitely made us, like, just spending that time together and, like, like really the fact that we could be on top of each other, basically, in more ways than one, was definitely, like, and we didn't get annoyed at each other, was kind of, like, solidifying the fact that we really love each other. And so we've been together 4 years, We'll be getting married for sure. I'll be proposing. We all know it's happening. But you know what? I've always wanted to propose to my partner. Like, I've had this dream of, like, proposing at the place that we met and, like, going back to the place we met or where we had our first kiss, more specifically. Like, where'd you have your first kiss? And, like, going back to that moment and proposing and having it come full circle. I'm a very full circle kind of person. So our first kiss was in a bathroom cubicle.
Was it Trash Alley? Was it Trash Alley?
At a gay nightclub. It was close to Trash Alley. We hooked up in a toilet, so won't be proposing there. But yeah.
Wow, I love it. I love love, and I love hearing these stories. It just, like, makes me warm inside. And I think it gives people hope who are still in toxic relationships to hear these stories that you don't have to be in relationships where you are constantly fighting.
Yeah, well, the way that we met was also so organic, which I love. We didn't meet on a dating app or anything like that.
Right.
I went to a drag show and I was with my best friend and I saw him across the room and I tapped my best friend on the shoulder and I said, oh my God, look at that boy. I'm like, he's just so my type. He's so perfect. He's fucking beautiful.
Aww.
And I tapped my friend and I literally looked at him and I tapped my best friend and I go, look at that guy. And he was like, oh my God, because he knew what I was talking about. And I go, that's my future husband.
And it was right.
So manifest that shit, ladies.
Yeah.
And then we became friends, and we were like, or friends as a friend group, my best friend and me, and then his best friend and him. We all became like a little group, and then that group kind of got bigger. And we were friends for a very long time. And I remember like I had the biggest crush on him, and I was just trying to like do the groundwork for like 3 or 4 months. And then finally I could see he was like taking what I was putting down. So there's a bit of a chase. And I hate chasing, but it was definitely worth it.
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah.
And yeah, I just love that we met really organically. Not that there's anything wrong with meeting on a dating app or a dating show. But yeah, like I just love that it was like one of those moments that we met in real life.
So
and he's so lovely.
Is there a proposal on the cards soon then, can we say?
Well, I need to stop working because there's no time to plan anything. I will say as well, here's the thing though, even though we've been together 4 years, like right now it's not the right time. Like I just know that. Like I feel like although I know that's happening, like you also know when you want to propose. And to be honest, like now's not that time. I always did say we've only been living together for a year. I think I'd probably want to give that like 2 years before you make a decision like that, just to really make sure. Because although we haven't had a fight,
you can
although we haven't had a fight ever, like you never know. You just want to really give it a test run before you lock it down. I don't see it being an issue, but yeah, the thing is, like, I just don't feel like I don't have time to think about that. You know what I mean? So once I have some rest, I do plan to take a bit of time off in a couple months. Lol. So I'm not going to propose then, but at least I can then think about it.
Yeah.
We'll be keeping our eye out for a proposal then.
Yeah.
Well, you won't be. You can't even see my profile.
I was about to say, I'll be asking Anna. I'll be like, has he proposed yet?
Anything yet?
Yeah, anything going on yet?
I love it.
I can't believe you blocked me.
What was I going to say? How was your dating life before meeting Skylar then? Yeah,
did you have any toxic relationships before?
Oh my God, literally, yes. I had so many toxic relationships. They were awful. Some of them were, I was actually more of a situationship kind of person.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was never any official label on it, but it was like months or years of like being in situationships, but also probably my own fault. Like sometimes I was in a situationship with 3 guys at a time. So maybe it was my own fault because like I remember getting into a situationship with like one guy, and so that was boring me, but I was still keeping him around. So I got another one, and then it was another situationship, and I was like, well, that's boring as well. You're both boring, but I'll keep you around. And then I got a third one. It wasn't until my best friend said something to me like, you realize you've got 3 guys on the go at once.
How do you even,
which I mean,
how do you monitor that? How do you monitor 3 guys at once? That would be like a job in itself.
Yeah. Well, it's hard when you call one of them the wrong name, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's
they're all called Babe. They're just all called Babe.
Each other. Yeah.
Babe or Honey.
Yeah. No, called one of them the wrong name during, an act of service.
Oh.
And, yeah, that didn't go down well. And actually, I think that was the end of us then.
Oh,
so
God.
Just remember, if you're going to sleep around with different people at the same time, just remember to call, as Matt said, Matt's a pro apparently, just call everyone Babe. I wouldn't know.
It takes one to know one.
Yeah, so just got to know what you got to do. You got to, just us, always Babe.
Always Babe, always Babe. That's hilarious. Do you have any good pickup lines? Because we are obviously a dating podcast and we always like to ask our guests to help the audience in their dating lives.
What's?
My best pickup is, it's not really a pickup line actually.
Or dating tips maybe.
What's the best pickup line that's been used on you maybe?
It's that my favorite like pickup line sort of esque thing is Elvira, when someone asks her like, how's your head? And she goes, I've never had any complaints. It's a slow burn. But I don't know. I've never been a pickup. As I said, I hate the chase.
Yeah.
So I've never been a pickup line person. Like, you're doing the pickup lines on me. And, for the most part, you didn't need a pickup line. As long as you look good, I was ready anyway. So, like, it didn't even matter what your name was. Didn't have to learn it half the time.
Oh, so you call them by the wrong one anyway.
Yeah,
Exactly. But dating tips, look, I would say, I've got the biggest dating tip for you, and I really think this is half the reason that our relationship is so successful. Seriously, though, for a minute, the fact is that Sky and I have very separate friend groups. So we have a friend group that before we started dating was a friend group, so we're obviously still all a friend group, and that's fine. But I mean, friends that I didn't meet before dating him, I have no relationship with. And I think that is one of the biggest and best things about our relationship, and vice versa. He obviously knows my friends. I know his friends. They come over and obviously we have a conversation, but I couldn't tell you anything about their lives. And he couldn't tell you anything about any of my friends' lives. And although that sounds really like harsh and black and white, it's not exactly like that. But what I think that does is there's no like mixing between friends and relationship and things like that. I feel like all of the breakdowns in the past is because I've wanted my partners to like be besties with my best friends. And then when it gets messy, it gets really, really messy. Yeah. And so although like we obviously have a great relationship with I know Sky's friends' names, I know what they do for work, and that's about it. And when they come over, we catch up, hi, how are you, what's been happening? But I never message one of them and say happy birthday or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have that sort of relationship. And we're very conscious, especially after probably spending so much time together during the lockdowns, we're very conscious that we need time apart as much as we have time together. So I'm always happy when he's like, I'm going out for dinner with my friend on Thursday night. I'm like, freaking go. Like, enjoy your life. I never want to be one of those boyfriends either that like gets upset at my partner for wanting to go and do things with his friends and things like that. I'm like, you do whatever you like. I'll be here sitting and waiting for you, or I might go out for dinner with one of my friends. Yeah. And so we really take time to still spend time with the people in our lives, but it's not all commingled together. And I think that is honestly one of the best reasons why it works.
I like that too.
I find it very interesting because my partner actually is one of her issues with our relationship that my friends and her don't get along at all. And they just they talk to each other, but like they wouldn't hang out. And she said that she wants like her to get along with her partner's friends and have like a relationship with them. So I find it interesting that you reckon that's a tip.
You mean your ex?
Well, we're not. This isn't coming out by then. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, it was one. Well, right. We'll just cut this. We'll cut this out.
Yeah, Alex, cut this out.
Yeah, we'll cut this out. But she broke up with me, and that was one of the reasons why. That was literally the main reason.
Wow.
Because of what you just said, the opposite.
Well, I mean, everybody's different, but yeah, I think that like for me, we know that time apart is as important as time together.
Totally.
No,
I think that's really good as well.
I agree. I think that there has to be you have to have your own time. Like, I love my fucking own time. Like, my own time is great. And then you get to hang out with your friends, have a beer and
Yeah, for sure.
Your own space.
Do you have an embarrassing dating story that you could tell us?
Plenty of them.
Where on earth? I think my most embarrassing was probably when I called the guy the wrong name during.
What happened after that? Did he just take up and leave, or did he finish?
Because the other guy that I called him the name of is my ex. And so he already knew about that guy.
You didn't say that before.
You missed that
part. The biggest bit of it.
You missed the punchline.
Yeah. And I had slept with him that morning, and then the other guy came over in the afternoon.
Daddy's got to eat.
So I just got confused. There was a lot of men in the house at once, I got confused.
I love it.
That was probably the most embarrassing dating. But see, look, the other thing as well is, as a gay man, dating is very different. In fact, we hardly date at all in the gay world. I mean, maybe these days, it's a little bit different. But definitely beforehand, there was not much dating happening. You didn't hear of people going on dates. You didn't really go on dates yourself. I was never really seeking anyone to date. I was more so just like looking for sex at the end of the day, or maybe not even sex, just like other things. But for me, like apart from my situationships, before I was in a relationship, like, I was on all the apps, finding men, but not to date, just to be like, come over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We kind of just got straight to the point. We're very busy, gay people. We're very busy. We've just got to in and out, do it, and then never see you again. And so, I don't know, like embarrassing dating stories. I never really went on dates, to be honest.
Right. Well, like maybe embarrassing grinder stories, would you say?
Oh my God, Joel, where do I start? Okay, one time I was almost murdered because I was on Grindr. Oh, here we go. This is a big story for you, but oh my God, it ends so badly as well.
We want to know.
Badly in a good
well, you're
way.
obviously alive, so it didn't end too bad.
No, it's actually a full 180. I'll keep it real short for you. I tell the full story on Trash Alley, but it's a long story, but I'll keep it short. Okay, so I was messaging this guy. He was like, come over, I'll give you a full body massage. And I was like, you know what, that actually sounds really good. I'm keen with that. And so I get in his, he's like, oh, what's your address? I give him the address. He's like, there's a taxi out the front. And so I get in the taxi and I'm like, hey, and I think he's booked me a taxi. No, he's the taxi driver. And he looked nothing like his pictures. And he starts driving and rubbing my leg. And then he's like, I've got to drop the taxi back to the taxi rink in Alexandria. And then you can book an Uber to my house and I'll do the whole massage thing. And I didn't have enough money to pay for an Uber all these years ago. And so I was stressed now. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. He drops his car off at the taxi rank. And then anyway, all this other stuff happened. I tried to get out of the car. He locked the doors. This is before the taxi rank. But I mean, in one way, he didn't mean any harm, I don't think. But he wasn't not letting me out, but the doors were locked and I couldn't open the door. And so then, but it wasn't a full on thing. I think he had just genuinely locked the doors and I didn't, so I'm panicking. I'm drunk anyway at the time. And I was like, oh. And then I get out of the taxi and run. And then he, when he unlocks the doors for me to get out so that he could go into the taxi rink. And then he turns around and chases me with the taxi down the street. And then I run into this apartment building and I hide. And then he gets out of the taxi and comes in and follows me. But again, I just think he was trying to be genuinely nice, but I was just freaking out. But I don't know.
Oh anyway, my God.
He's probably trying to help you and you're
literally, I think he might have been, but I was just profiling him and being like, no, he's going to murder me. So I got on Grindr again and was then seeking refuge with whoever was nearest. And so then I messaged a guy and he was like, yeah, come up to mine. And I get up there. And did you know what a bukkake is?
No.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. We might just ask the guests to the listeners to Google what a bukkake is. Because I don't know whether I can
So that's where
I'll Google in my own time.
So I get up to the room and he gets I'm just taking refuge. He's trying to be sexual, but I was like, I'm actually having a bit of a panic attack, so I can't. And he wasn't that attractive either. But then he got a phone call and said, they asked if he wanted to come over for a bukkake. And he said, oh, well, I got someone here. Can I bring them? And he asked me and says, do you want to go have a bukkake? And I'm sitting there having a panic attack, just out of my mind thinking, this is not where I thought I'd end up. And he's like, do you want to have a bukkake? And I went, oh, well, all right then. Yeah, we better. And so I went
May as well be rude.
It was funny. It was a very exciting experience. It was a one-off. I'll never probably do it again. But it was fun. And that's probably the wildest story. There's a lot more detail, but
I feel like you guys need to tell me what a bukkake is because I'm feeling left out. What is it?
Well, you might want to cut it out of the...
No, this is an open podcast.
Yeah,
okay. Well, it's have you heard of a circle jerk then?
So you all blow on one thing.
On what?
Yeah.
It's when you all you circle jerk. Well, you probably...
you explain it.
You'd probably be, yeah.
So I walked into this bukkake not knowing what to expect. Let me tell you, it was the hottest fucking footballer body type. Like, they look like they all played for the Sydney Roosters. You know what I mean? Like, I was in heaven. So I'm in the middle, Anna, and it's kind of like, you know, they're just kind of like all standing around you, and you're just taking your pick at what you want to grab and suck and whatever. And then I become, you know, the canvas for the painting.
Picasso.
Right.
Yes. But you know what? As full on as that sounds, let me tell you, they were all real gentlemen. Like, they just, it sounds like it's crazy. They treated me with so much respect, and I appreciate that.
I
can't believe we've gone from like this trauma situation, getting chased by a fucking taxi, into this. I did not see that coming. I have to say,
by a bunch of Sydney Roosters.
I did not see it coming either, but it did.
Wowee. That is an amazing story. I love it.
Just a question, how many? Do you remember, like, how big's the circle?
Yeah, so there were 4, and then the guy that brought me from his apartment that I seek refuge in, he sat on the lounge. So, like, there were 5 guys in the room and me, but there were only 4. And the one that sat on the lounge just was, like, pleasuring himself and watching it all happen.
Did you invite the taxi driver? Get it really going?
No.
Well, I've got
He's been blocked for life.
Yeah, he's been blocked. I have a question actually about like gay relationships and that I find fascinating. Are you in a monogamous one, or is?
Yeah, I am.
You are, yeah. Because I find
monogamy's always been really important to me. It's not for a lot of people in the gay community, but and the good thing about Skylar is he was looking for the same thing. So we're very monogamous. We've never strayed, but I feel like I had my time before this relationship, as you can tell.
Do you set that boundary from the start? Is it a conversation that comes up early, or is it like?
Yeah, for us, we had that conversation before we even started dating. Also, I think before we even started really talking to each other a bit more seriously, I think I just popped that question like in the friend group and was like, what do we all think? Because I wanted to gauge his interest, because if he wanted to be open, then I don't know whether I could deal with that. But here's the thing, you know what's really funny? It's like I have this is so random, but you know Jess from The Bachelor this season. Did you watch The Bachelors this season?
Yeah. Is that the blonde guy?
The blonde girl who had the open relationship and the ex-boyfriend and stuff?
I remember.
So, like, she was saying some things and she was making really good points. And me and Sky were, like, talking and we were like, wow, that's so interesting. Like, yeah, we definitely don't want that. But, like, that's so interesting. And we kind of, like, now... Because I've come to a point where before this relationship, I like never understood why anyone else would want to be with anyone else except their partner. That was just like my whole thing. And I always looked at people who were in open relationships as like, why are you even bothering? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now, although I still don't want that, I now understand it. And I now go, well, if someone else wants an open relationship, absolutely, like you go for it as long as you're both on the same page. It's, not something that we want for our relationship now. I mean, that could change in the future. I don't see it changing, but yeah.
We had a sex...
I know it's a big thing.
We had a sex expert come onto our podcast recently called Dr. Tara, and she explained to us that a lot of couples are moving from monogamy to monogamish. And the monogamish part is just like a random threesome here and like a little play there, and it's kind of like a little bit of dabbling, but mainly monogamous. I can't even talk.
Monogamish. Monogamy, yeah.
Monogamish. Yeah. But yeah, apparently monogamish is like the new monogamy, supposedly.
So what's monogamish? Is that just like introducing someone into your relationship for just a one-night thing?
Yeah.
It's just like, just very...
Or if your sexual needs or desires aren't linked up, that they come to an agreement that, for instance, say...
So it's like 90% of the time you're monogam...
Yeah, say one of them wants more sex and the other one's sex drive can't keep up with it. There's a discussion had and they've said, okay, you can go, I guess, pay for something. You could pick someone up, or you could have someone on the side that you find if the other one can't keep up with it.
But it's like a conversation and like
all
lots of communication.
All
and
above board,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was interesting hearing it.
I feel like it's a bit like awkward to bring someone in. Like I think if we wanted to try spicing it up, I don't think I'd go straight to let's bring a third person into our bedroom.
Totally. I feel the same way. Scary.
But I feel like it's almost easier to actually just go and sleep with someone else altogether than bring a third person in.
Yeah.
I don't
really?
know. Like I know I just did a story about a bukkake, but threesomes scare me, because I don't want to be the odd one out. But I don't want to feel left out in my own threesome.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, your partner going off and doing stuff, the fucking not knowing would kill me. Like, would eat me alive, I reckon. I couldn't compartmentalize.
Matt and I are way too jealous to ever be in a monogamous relationship.
I was thinking about it then. It's something to spice it up. Could be you could invite someone to watch.
Look, we'll brainstorm at a later
I don't know whether
date.
I'd be able to find anyone to watch me.
Anyone to watch you.
I mean, that's a very, very niche market there.
I could see that.
Imagine just like a creepy person in the corner, like masturbating to you. Like it's just giving me the
I'll call the
ick.
taxi driver.
Give me his digits.
Oh, Matt, it's been lovely having you
Thanks.
on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you for having me, Jules. It's been a hoot. It's been the greatest way to start my day.
Please, I'll look to unblock you or you unblock me. I'll speak to the people at Instagram higher up and see what's going on.
Yeah,
here.
something's going on. It's all gone wrong. You must have bullied me in high school or something, because I don't know what's going on there.
That's it.
Strange, very strange. All right, thank you, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.